Oh, I officially have the dumbest mushrooms in existence!
What happened?
They won't. It's one space. You can. Oh, there you go! 30 minutes of struggle. Oh, no! There's another! Just get through. Come on! One at a time! I didn't hurt you. There you go, you idiots! Get back here! Don't even! Look at the... Yes! No! Look at the wheat! Look at the wheat! Look at the wheat! Look at the wheat! Yes! Yes! Come on. You too, cow. Mushroom.
Julie, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Touching himself. Leave him alone. Come on. Oh no. Yes. Everett.
Where are you?
You're still back here?
Yes, because they're idiots and they can't learn how to go through, like, doorways. This way! Down here! Good mission! Oh no, there's another. Okay, look out. One at a time. One time. Yes! Oh! Stop getting in my face.
Wait, you're bringing mushrooms?
Yes!
Oh, I thought you said mushrooms.
Stuck in.
No.
Oh.
Why would mushrooms get stuck in a doorway? Everett, you just stole them from me, you anus. You know what? No, they're your problem now. You have fun deal. Oh, now they got mine. We have the sluttiest and most retarded cows in existence. This way, Everett. These cows are retarded!
How do you think the cows feel? You just gave up.
This is what you get.
Dude.
This is what you get!
Dude. No.
You deserve this!
Seriously, don't kill me.
You're not living in my chicken coop. Only I live there.
I know. I built it.
Okay, where are we gonna put these cows?
They ain't staying down here!
They're staying down here.
Nope! We're putting them in the
Why
tree
you
farm.
kill them?
Just put them in the tree farm.
Okay.
No, there are too many monsters that spawn.
They don't attack them. Light it up more. I don't care. I don't want to see them ever again. They are... What are you looking at? It's a rock! Look at the wheat. The wheat is food. You are bad. You love food. Follow me.
Tristan, what if I do?
Shut up! Here's zombies, and here poop, and these cows are retarded, and my day is just horrible now! Where are you going?
He's jumping on the bed.
Wheat! You like wheat. Wheat. Turn around and look at... I like your udder. Now turn and look at the wheat.
Guys, there's a zombie in there.
Thank you.
I'll kill it.
You
Where?
go down the
There's a
stairs.
zombie in the tree farm.
Push it down, yes. No. Why did you stop looking at my wheat? Go down there.
Is the golem
Go.
take care of it?
Go down there.
Oh.
Make 1,000 golems. I don't care. Just putting these
Are you breaking that? Yeah.
goddamn things down there.
Why is there a jungle tree up here?
There's another zombie.
We're gonna have to make a doorway so they don't climb back up here and be all derpy everywhere. Is there any showing lava where these dumbasses can fall into?
Yes.
Close it up.
No, I'm kidding.
So angry. They're trying to walk up the stairs, but I'm blocking them from doing that because they're stupid. Stupid. What are you? Oh yeah, that's right. You're stupid. Eat the wheat, make babies.
Make babies?
They can't even do that right! Oh, look, they had a little retard baby.
The mushrooms.
You're getting way too mad with this, Tristan.
They're like cow mushrooms.
Are they supposed to follow order?
Yeah. Sort of.
Whoa. Get away from my little retards, okay? Get away. Get away. These things are the dumbest creatures in all of Minecraft.
Who's burning down the tree?
You. Not me.
The
Everett?
tree.
Oh, it was the mushroom!
Why is the tree on fire?
I don't know.
Lava!
Put it out!
There's lava underneath us.
They just catch on fire from that?
From lava? No.
Under us?
Yeah.
Tristan, do you want to go on the other server?
Shut up!
I'll take that as a no.
We need a door closed up somehow. Someone make a door.
I'm
Okay.
just making sure no zombies get through.
Did you block up the path?
Yes.
I don't have any cobblestone.
Oh. My goodness. That was just horrible.
Yeah, this is like the worst experience ever.
I hate everyone.
You just hate cows now.
I just hate cows. Did anyone make a door?
I can't get up. I don't have cobble.
You don't have what?
Cobblestone.
Why would you need cobblestone?
Because you blocked it up, remember that?
Why would I need cobblestone?
So I could... So I can
It's
actually
already
get...
blocked up.
How am I supposed to get back up and make a door? Oh.
You are more retarded than the freaking mushrooms!
I'm sorry. Oh, you made the door. That's great.
Which is almost impossible! I'm sorry, guys. These mushrooms, they just anger me.
I
Can you
fell.
have babies again? Can you have babies with one of your parents? Incest, can you do that? Can you do that for me? Please? No, you suck. Why can't these cows have incest sex? Which one's the father and which one's the mother?
Neither.
Mother.
Wait, all cows are women.
Whoa.
This is a lesbian couple.
It's awesome.
No wonder they're so dumb.
That doesn't... That's...
I'm kidding.
Little do you know, I just recorded that, and that's going on YouTube now.
What?
You will be a public disgrace for the rest of your life!
You recorded all of this, Tristan?
Yes!
Can someone make like legit
No!
here?
Legit what?
I'll make it, don't worry.
Okay.
Too late, I already did it.
You already did what?
Made the stairs.
I didn't ask for stairs.
I did.
Oh my god, like I said, you're more retarded than the freaking cows.
But they're mushrooms.
They're still cows.
Anyone have leather?
Yes.
Ooh, come here.
You don't
No,
need leather.
you don't get it.
Yeah, you don't get we're gonna have a leather supply soon.
That's gonna be...
No, just because he's retarded, he doesn't get it.
Yeah, I want to fix my white pants and shoes I stole.
I just want to say, I don't have anything against retards. But you two, or you mushroom Julians are just retarded.
Julian enjoys being retarded.
What?
Julian enjoys being
No,
retarded.
I wasn't talking to you. Whatever.
Who left the door, the wooden door with the mushrooms open?
Julian!
Was not me.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
You were the last one
out
down
of that
there.
room.
I've got spit all over my monitor because I've been yelling so much. Ah.
You see, George, this is why you should join us.
I hate everyone! George, I swear to God, if you play with us, you better not be retarded.
My bro is laughing at you. You mad, bro?
Can't wait for freaking kickboxing. I'm gonna, like, break the bags.
Watch when we come
And,
home.
no, we're getting a red bag, too, because it looks like a mushroom!
What?
I saved 2 poisonous potatoes for you.
Tristan, when we get home from kickboxing, Julian derped up so bad that all the animals are dead. And all the
I swear to baby Jesus himself, I would rip open your face and eat the little amount of brains that you have.
Hey dude, is it okay if I spawn?
No!
No, to protect the cows!
What are you spawning?
A snowman.
No!
Why not?
Cause they're retarded too! Why is
Well,
everything in
it
Minecraft
sucks.
stupid?
Look at
Tristan,
him.
this is the last thing you need. I'm sorry.
I'm killing you.
I don't even have a bed, dude.
Go make a bed, go sleep in it, then I'm killing you.
I have 30 experience.
I don't care, use it.
On what?
Oh, jeez, baby.